What is up, guys? BJ Dell here, and in today's video I'm going to be customizing these Vans using nothing but Sharpies. I'm also going to be giving away these one-of-a-kind shoes to one lucky viewer, so stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how you can enter to win. Alright guys, so I'm going to jump in from time to time during this video, kind of give you some tips and tricks. If you guys want to try this at home, let you know what worked for me. This of course is just the sketch phase. I'm just using a basic mechanical pencil to lay everything out. Starting the sketch phase, honestly my main advice here is just don't sketch too dark. Sketch pretty light, because once you lay the colors in with the markers, it's going to start bleeding and you're going to get some of that lead and that graphite kind of bleeding into your colors, so you don't want that, so keep it light. So here you can see I'm starting to lay in those base colors. One thing to keep in mind with Sharpies is that they bleed like crazy on canvas. So filling in the sketch layer, I don't want to go clear to the lines because I'm going to have a lot of bleed there. Likewise, if you've got two different colors that are butting up against each other, you don't want to go clear to where they meet. Leave a little bit of gap of white there. I'm just using a fine tip right now, and I'm going to go back in later with the ultra fine tip to kind of clean that up. Alright, so here you're really going to start to see what I'm talking about with the bleed. So the black you'll see here really starts to bleed with that canvas. So the main thing here, like I said, don't go clear to the edges. Leave some of that gap there when you're using just the regular fine tip, and then you can go with the ultra fine later to clean up those little gaps that you'll see in the white there. You just want to make sure you leave that area between the two colors so you don't have too much of a bleed and it doesn't look too messy. So for little details here, this is where I'm switching over to that ultra fine tip Sharpie. So with these, they're a little bit more forgiving as far as the bleed goes, so you can get some nice crisp lines out of these as long as you keep your strokes short and quick and don't stay in one place for too long. Here with this, you'll see I'm starting out with the fatter tip one, and then I'm going to build up this line around the eye, kind of clean it up with the ultra fine tip. Ultra fine tips are really good for details. You can get some really nice crisp lines, so definitely get both sets. If you're gonna try this, have both different sizes so you can go back and forth. Here I'm just throwing some orange in to give some nice shadows to this. I'm gonna go in with a little bit darker of a tan color for the actual full-on shadows. We'll see that here in a little bit, but the orange gives a nice pop against that yellow. This is where I'm going in with tan, do a little bit more darker shadows. Don't want to get it too dark, so this tan has a nice way of bringing out that shadow. So these drips are on the back using that ultra fine tip, kind of building up the line. Start with a thin line and go around it a few times to kind of build up that line weight. Here you also see as I'm doing the red, not going clear to the edges. So with this, I'm just using the fine point, the thicker one, and then I'll go back in with the ultra fine to kind of clean up those edges. Here you'll really see too the bleed. I don't go clear to the edges, just let it set and bleed into the lines. One of the main things to remember as you're coloring and doing some of the details, really kind of pull on the canvas. You'll see my left hand there. It's kind of stretching the canvas. Anybody watching this that tattoos will kind of understand that when you're applying a pressure against the skin to kind of stretch that. Kind of the same idea here. You really want to pull that canvas taut. Building up those lines with the ultra fine, just going around a few times and then throwing that orange back in there. Another thing to remember too, when you move from color to color, I would really suggest you kind of let it sit and dry for a little bit. If you go in with one color against another one and it's still wet, it's going to bleed a little bit more. Once again, here you're gonna see the bleeding going on. I'm not going clear to the edges, just letting the marker kind of bleed into that surrounding color and then going back in with this ultra fine tip to clean up the lines. This design too was a little bit harder than usual ones, just doing the left side, right side of the face. So you'll see here, I've got them set next to each other to make sure that everything lines up from left to right. Here, going back in with that ultra fine tip. Like I said, just let the marker sit there for a while and dry before you go in and try to clean up the lines. That way it's not wet and it's going to give you a little bit sharper of a line. You're not going to have as much bleed. Alright guys, that's it for my custom Vans video. I appreciate you watching. I don't know about you guys, but I think these things turned out pretty freaking sweet. And one lucky viewer is going to be able to win these. So all you have to do is like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the bell hit for notifications, and then hop on over to Instagram. Follow me on there at BJDell and leave a comment on this video with your Instagram handle. I'm going to pick the winner from the comments and then contact the winner on Instagram. Since YouTube doesn't have any direct messaging capabilities, you've got until March 1st. I'm running this contest for the entire month of February. So these are US size 10 and men's. If you're not a size 10, don't let that stop you from entering though. You can always give them as a gift, or they would make a killer art piece you could throw up on your shelf. So if you guys are subscribers to my channel already or return viewers, you know I usually do digital tutorials on my channel, but I always get asked a lot if I do traditional work still, so I thought these shoes today and doing the customization would be a lot of fun, a little change of pace for the channel. So let me know if you guys like this video, if you want to see more of these in the future, and if you've got any ideas on what I should customize next, let me know down in the comments and you might see your idea in the next video. If you're new to the channel and you're an artist yourself, I also have a group over on Facebook called Keep Creating, a Learn, Draw, Share art community, which I will link in the description below. It's a place where you can join, share your art, and meet other artists. It's very cool. I want you guys to be a part of it, so hop on over and join. As for me, I can also be found online, bjdell.com, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.